Dealing with unknown faces and criminals is part of a cop's job, but what if the one breaking the law is a friend? Let's delve into 3 instances where this happened. In a small town where everyone knows each other, Buck, despite not having a valid license, gets pulled over by the town sheriff, who claims to have seen him driving his Chevy pickup. Buck's explanation is that a friend was driving but ditched him near a lake, leaving him with no option but to drive back home.
The person that was driving this truck just jumped out over there on goddamn Lake Morality, and goddamn, I had no other way to get it here, buddy. I swear to God, I'm not going to drive it no more. I promise you.
The officer points out that Buck could have called someone with a license, emphasizing that we are in the 21st century and communication is readily available.
I had to get it out of the road, bro. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Leaving the road waiting for traffic to hit?
Let Kevin or someone with a license pull it off.
However, Buck remains unhappy, seemingly resistant to accepting the straightforward solution. The short-lived police chase adds another charge to Buck's list. Despite the chase not lasting very long, it becomes the talk of the town, given the close-knit community. Part of the struggle on the ground had to be cut, but the cops reported that Buck resisted so hard they had to deploy a taser to calm him down. When Buck was fully restrained and handcuffed, he was taken to the officer's patrol vehicle, driven back to the station, all while expressing his anger.
You've been driving. You know you ain't supposed to.
Man, god damn, dude. That's all y'all just want me to get. Y'all after me, bro. This is the 3rd time, bro, in a week y'all pulled that truck over.
It ain't the first time. It's the first time Michael stopped that truck.
So why would you? I mean, look, I was at my house, bro. I mean, you see me at the house, bro. I mean, I told you the truth, and you were still gonna take me to jail, bro. That's crazy.
Seeing you behind the wheel, I'm not explaining anymore, Buck.
On the way back, Buck decides to make the conversation personal, highlighting the emotional intensity of the situation.
Just like the rest of them, I turned it straight fucking. That's crazy, bro. That's all right though. Every dog's got its day. Every dog's got its day.
Despite the dramatic events, the officer gives Buck's friend a misdemeanor charge, worth just a couple of months in jail. However, the next case involves suspects who didn't receive the same treatment. It wasn't just a civilian caught breaking the law, it was also their cop friend, making the situation more complex and potentially severe. Moving on to Petra Edgerton's case takes an unexpected turn when she gets pulled over for a broken brake light.
Hello, how you doing? Reason I stopped you is your right brake light is out.
The cop, however, quickly notices a police badge around her neck. This triggers suspicion.
Who do you work for?
The cop doesn't recognize Petra as a fellow officer.
So did you stop me because my right brake light is out?
Yeah.
Or did you stop me to ask me who I work for?
Well, I'm asking you both.
And driving around in a broken car adds to the unusual circumstances.
DCS.
What?
DCS.
DCS. What's DCS?
You don't know what
Department of
DCS
Children's Services?
Sensing something is off, the cop decides to delve deeper into the situation.
See your license then? Do you have your badge on you? Like your ID badge?
I need to ask for
Being a police officer.
my ID. See, this is what you're asking me all those questions.
Right.
Saying you stopped me for my right brake light.
At this point, the brake light issue becomes the least of the cop's worries. It's challenging to define how an off-duty officer should behave, making the situation more complex.
So, if you're a police officer, you understand what probable cause is, right?
So what's the problem with that?
Your right brake light's out.
Petra's defensive behavior, closed-off attitude, and vague answers to questions that a real cop would easily handle raise red flags.
Look, long story short, I just want to know who you work for.
Okay. And that's the issue. Why do you want to know who I work for?
Because I've never seen you around here before. You're not a police officer that works here.
The cop realizes that an off-duty officer should be able to provide simple information, such as the name of the department and supervisor, within a couple of minutes. Petra's defensiveness, turning the situation into a personal matter, adds to the suspicion.
So, are you a police officer or are you not a police officer?
So because a black person walks into a store with a badge and a gun, it's an issue.
It's apparent that Petra doesn't grasp the gravity of her actions. Minutes earlier, she was seen inside a store using her badge and gun to get free food, a clear case of not just cop impersonation but also theft.
Because you never seen me before?
I don't recognize you.
What they got to do with me and where I work?
Are you a police officer or you're not a police officer?
Not a police officer.
You're not a police officer?
No.
So why would you go into Quick Trip and get free food with your badge and gun?
Because I'm an officer. You don't have to be a police officer to go in there. I've been doing it for 3 years.
You're an
You've
officer
never
with who?
seen me,
You're an officer with
doesn't
who?
mean that I don't work here. That's the issue that I'm having. It's
So you're not a
it's
certified police
It's
officer.
not probable cause. It's a personal thing. Because you've never seen me walk in that store. You followed me out the store, got in your car, seen that I had a brake light out, and decided to pull me over for my brake light. Did I steal from
Are you
Quick Trip?
Yeah, if you're not a police
I
officer.
did not steal from Quick Trip. I went up to the register, spoke to the guy that works there, and told him I had a drink.
So you're presenting yourself as a police officer with your badge and your gun on the side.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
The cop decides to call the Department of Child Services, DCS, to confirm his suspicions.
Man, follow me.
Who's your supervisor?
Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but what does that have to do with my brake light?
I've got DCS on the phone. They say you don't work there. So who's your supervisor?
Instantly, it becomes clear that Petra is not who she claims to be. Realizing the suspect has some knowledge of policing, she remains silent. The cop shifts attention to the passenger, who, up to this point, has stayed silent. When asked for her ID, the passenger's response surprises the cop.
I have one of your employees here, Brandy Green. She was with her friend, Petra Edgerton. Brandy decided that she was going to give Petra her badge and her gun to go into Quick Trip and get some food. So I pulled them over for a broken tail light. Petra was driving. She had the badge on and the gun on. When I pulled them over, she identified herself as a DCS officer and then later admitted to not being a DCS officer. And your employee, Brandy Green, admitted to giving her the gun and the badge to go into Quick Trip to get the free food.
Leading to further revelations about Petra and her cop impersonation, resulting in felony charges. Finally, on New Year's Day 2021, when Officer Brooke Shutterly arrives at the scene of a car crash, she quickly realizes that the person at the wheel isn't just her supervisor, but also a good friend, Corporal Scott Bertzik.
He didn't want to do an information
So he
exchange?
does. Now I found it.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Given their familiarity, Brooke and Scott are comfortable with each other. Curiously, Scott openly admits fault, providing a detailed account of how the incident unfolded.
So,
Yeah, reached out for my lighter, slammed into his.
cool.
No, not really.
Not really.
Before proceeding further, Brooke decides to check with the base to ensure there are no issues with her handling the case involving her friend.
Give me a second, because I'm going to call Priester and see if he needs me to do anything special since it's one of us. Hey, this crash, it's been a long time since I've worked a crash with one of us in it, so... No, he's not on duty. He's in his POV. But I just didn't want there to be any, conflict of interest type issues. Alright, that was it. I just want to make sure. Alright, bye.
The green light is given, and she continues with the investigation. However, her initial approval is given a second thought when she observes something troubling.
Birdie, you giving me some indicators?
Oh,
Listen,
woman.
listen. Valdez is coming out just to... I'm not going to lie to you about it.
She's on her way?
Yeah, she's on her way.
It becomes evident that Scott is under the influence of something, evident from his slurred speech, slowed reactions, and slight loss of motor control. Brooke is increasingly convinced that he's been drinking. In this situation, Scott transitions from being her supervisor to a suspect in the case, and the fact that he's drunk and likely unpredictable poses a significant threat, especially to a female officer.
Please don't make my life difficult.
I would never do that to you.
Okay. I'm very uncomfortable right now.
And I apologize for putting you in that position.
Okay.
Are you on?
Yes. Yes, I am. And I'm going to remain on
Fair enough.
because integrity.
another officer arrives at the scene, and the investigation moves forward with sobriety tests lasting over 10 minutes.
You may begin the test.
One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
While only a few seconds are shown, it's clear that Scott's condition is not favorable. The overwhelming evidence prompts the officers to conclude that Scott had been drinking that night, leading to the decision to put him in cuffs, a development he strongly protests.
There's things that we can do to fix this, but
It is for my kids, my family, everything.
Despite Scott's typically polite and respectful demeanor, he faces a severe sentence compared to most criminal cops. With a blood alcohol level of 0.156, he is charged with driving under the influence and damaging property. The penalty includes fines, community service, substance abuse, and DUI classes, a 6-month suspension of his driver's license, a lawsuit from the other driver with a settled cash agreement, a week-long suspension without pay, and a last chance agreement, implying one more mistake would result in termination. These cases underscore the fact that even cops can sometimes overlook the rules, creating unexpected and challenging situations for both officers and their friends. The human element in law enforcement, with all its imperfections, is a crucial aspect to consider when evaluating the challenges faced by those tasked with upholding the law.